Hey, this is Sky. Welcome to my YouTube channel. It's bright and early. Daily discipline, mind, body, and soul. This is how we get through. If you're new to the channel, every Sunday I like to do a warriors group. And what that is a few of us just get together. We have a little powwow on about 6 quotes, ideas that I pull from my morning studies. I study every single day. I study philosophy, science, history, all kinds of stuff, religion, and I'm all putting it together. This is what mind, body, and soul is all about. Some of these motherfuckers on YouTube will come on here and just tell you to work out all the time, just get jacked. That's not enough. Not on this channel. We're becoming triple threats, mind, body, and soul. We're becoming the most dangerous type of warriors that exist. The elite. You know, we're the 1% of the 1%. The deadliest motherfuckers. When shit hits the fan, it's us that gets sent in. And this is how we get through. So let's just get into it. The first idea I want to talk about, it's not a quote, it's just an idea. It's this idea of relative truth. You know what that is? Relative truth is just your personal truth. It's not truth. Like water is wet, the sky is blue, gravity makes things fall down. That's truth. Relative truth is just for you. It's just your own little personal truth. This is how big fat pieces of shit go around telling people that I'm in good shape. And they have this big fat chick on the cover of Sports Illustrated, and her relative truth is that she's beautiful. Relative truth to me is really just your opinion. It's what you want. It's just the rules that you've created for your little fantasy, and it doesn't work for all of us. Truth has to work for all of us. In order for something to be true, it has to work for me and for you. This is what science is all about. Some people get frustrated with science that the outcome didn't happen their way, and instead of accepting it and saying, well, I guess this isn't a truth, this is just one of those occurrences that sometimes happens this way and then sometimes happens that way. Who the fuck knows why? There's a difference, but there is no real consistency in this, so it's not a truth. They say, oh no, this is just my truth. If we can settle upon what health is, but I don't fit into that model of health, well then I'll just create my own truth. Relative truths can be quite frustrating when you force your relative truth upon me. Now, your relative truth for you, this little fantasy fucking world that you live in, is no longer just your little world. You're trying to force that shit upon me. Oh, hell no. You're trying to replace real truth, empirical truth, provable truth with your bullshit, with your delusion. We're seeing this happen in politics. We're seeing this happen with social justice. I think that's largely what a lot of this social justice bullshit is about. Think about all the different genders. That's not truth, that's relative truth. Let's go to the next one. You know what we do when we're depressed? Most of us, is we distract ourselves with pleasure. When we feel any kind of internal pain, when we move from being in that equilibrium, that state of being copacetic, everything's cool, into a state of anxiety or depression or anger or one of the negative emotions, then many of us immediately go to pleasure. Eat some junk food, make you feel better, a little reward. We get into a reward-based idea of life. And I don't know where this comes from. Maybe we do this with our pets, maybe our parents did this with us. A lot of parents treat their kids as pets. Stop rewarding yourself when you're feeling bad. I used to go shopping, spend money. I'd just be having a miserable day, and I would just go spend money, just on bullshit. I could spend a lot of money in a day. Jesus Christ, I could spend my whole paycheck in one day on nothing, on crap. Not really have much to, especially when I was a drug addict and an alcoholic. Oh my God. You gotta stop chasing pleasure. You gotta stop looking at pleasure as the ultimate reward, as happiness. People mistake pleasure for happiness. This will make me happy. And when you do that, pleasure just becomes a drug. You distract yourself, meaning that you don't want to go into what's ailing you. You don't want to think about the anxiety. You don't want to think about a plan for tomorrow. You don't want to hash out the pain from yesterday. So you go and reward yourself. Pacify yourself. You think, well, this is a way to be happy. I'm unhappy, so this is a way to be happy. And it's just this temporary high, because when that shit wears off, you still have all your problems chasing you. Stop distracting yourself with pleasure. Let's go on to the next one. This is just a quote I heard a buddy of mine say at the gym, and I was in a group of guys talking about the climate of crime, and especially that happens in bigger cities. I'm not in a big city, so we don't really worry about that here, but you go to Orlando or Miami or Jacksonville or New York or Chicago or any of these places, and you really have to worry about it. And we're talking about trouble, and this one guy who was a military dude, he said, "Trouble avoids me." And I like that quote, "Trouble avoids me." I think that's a very appropriate attitude to have. Trouble avoids me. That attitude in itself is how trouble stays out of your path. Trouble will move away from you. There is trouble everywhere you go. People are watching you. I know this because I used to be watching people. I used to rob people. And I know what it's like as a desperate drug addict, teenager, because that's when I was doing street robberies. I graduated up to real robberies pretty quick. Federal time, not no bullshit, smash and grab, knock you over the head. We do that shit as kids, man. But I know what it's like, and I know the game, and you just sit and watch and watch and wait and wait. The reason why you're waiting, because you could just go out your house and just smash anybody, but you wait and you wait for the right person. And who's the right person? That person who's not paying attention, that person who looks like they're not going to be trouble, the person who looks like they maybe don't have a weapon, the person who looks like they'll be an easy target. Are you an easy target? People are watching you. And like my buddy from the gym, the way to avoid trouble is to have it avoid you. You be George Thorogood. Kings and queens, step aside, motherfucker. You are the man. You are the most dangerous motherfucker on any block, in any room. People have to watch out for you. The little punk crackhead bitch at the gas station has to watch out for you, because you can kill him like that and not lose a fucking minute of sleep over it. Piss me off. I kill everybody in the room. I don't have to avoid trouble. Trouble avoids me. These motherfuckers scatter like fucking water bugs. And fuck every single one of them. I don't be scared of nothing. Ever. Let's go on to the next one. This is something that a lot of motherfuckers out there have done, and I've been doing. This is a big one. Don't use your childhood as a crutch. I've had to stop doing this, and I did this for many years. Use my terrible childhood. I was born homeless and grew up in apartment projects, and I could go on and on and on with my sad little story, and you could be like, damn, Sky, well, you know, it's good for you that you overcame it. Yeah, right. I pat myself. You want to see the bruise I got from patting myself on the back so much over this? I'm sick of looking at my childhood as weakness, as torture, as suffering. It's a perception. I'm sick of looking at my trauma as what made me and formed me. That's just a perception. My trauma didn't make me, it's just obstacles. I don't identify with my trauma anymore. And I'm not identifying with the weakness that I went through as a child, the pain and the suffering and the sorrow and the fear that I went through as a child, as a reason to be who I am today. I give all that up. I release myself from my childhood. I'm not using it as a crutch. I threw those crutches away. I'll stand on my own 2 feet in the here and now, on what I have now. Who I am is a totality of my life. We don't cherry pick our past and say, well, that's why I can't make a decision now. That's bitch shit, that's excuses. That's your relative truth. Let's go on to the next one. You find your solutions in chaos. Very oftentimes, you will find your solutions in the chaos of your life. Very often, I've had to go through chaos in order to find my way. To go through a certain level of anarchy in order to see the path, to see order. Order arises out of chaos. Order from chaos. Solutions from chaos. There's been many times in my life where I've been lost. Had no idea what direction I was going, what I was going to do with myself, who I was going to be, how I was going to live. I've been completely lost before, more than once. And those are dangerous times because your life can get way worse. You could be sitting by the side of the river pondering what direction you're going to go, and if you get up from that seat without a plan, wander aimlessly back into Babylon like an idiot, full of delusions from your past and your relative truths, and you can have a hard fucking life. And that's how I've done it. That's how I've lived. And going through those trials and tribulations are sometimes so necessary. I've never asked for an easy life, and if I had a magic wand to go back and change anything, I wouldn't change a goddamn thing. I would keep all the trauma, all the times I've been dumped, all the times I've made wrong decisions and I've sat there just like, fuck, what was I thinking? Because in those situations, in the lowest times, in the most scariest of darkest jungles is where I've seen the light, is where the solution that I've looked for lies. So if you're going through chaos, make sure you're looking for those solutions. You're keeping an eye out for the signs and signals that are being sent your way. And trust me, brother, they are being sent your way every day, all day. The last thing I want to talk about, I could go on this for a long time, so I'm going to have to just kind of self-edit and cut myself off at a certain point, but I want to talk about this because I think it's important. It's the idea of identity. What is your identity? Your identity is who you think you are. And a lot of us have this idea of who we think we are, and we push that upon the world. And you can't really force the world to accept you for who you are. And this is why identity politics and social justice is wrong. It's wrong. Social justice is wrong because of this. Because in order to choose who you are, you can't force me to accept your identity. I don't have to accept who you choose to be, who you tell me. This is who I am, love me or leave me. I can leave you. And everybody in the world can. And you can go off by your little self and be your little weirdo, weird self that you're trying to force everybody to accept you as. And you could go be by yourself, be a little isolated hermit. The world will do this to you. There's lots of people that are having this happen to them. I've had it happen to me. And then you're going to have to recalibrate, readjust, and think about, well, who am I? And maybe that didn't really work. The person that I want to project upon to the world and say, this is who I am. Accept me for who I am. Well, that didn't work. So you have to alter. And you play this game. And yes, society gets to have a say in who you are. You can't just force yourself on society. I don't have to accept you for who you are. Nobody does. It's voluntary play. Identity is a voluntary game that we all play, and that's how you end up who you are with your identity, with an identity that the world tolerates, that it accepts. We used to see this in the streets. Motherfuckers want to pop into the streets and act like they're kingpins. Ain't nobody seen this motherfucker before, and he thinks that he's the Don of the city. He's the fucking biggest shot caller. He's done this, done that, he's the shit. You can talk that only so much, and we don't have to accept this persona that you've made up, that you've come to us with. You can try that shit all you want, but we don't have to tolerate that. And we can put you in your place, and that happens. And so you failed. All of a sudden you go back, if you're lucky to live through something like that in the streets, because people get killed that way, you have to go back and change and to recalibrate and to readjust and realize, okay, well, that didn't really work. Maybe I'll be a little bit more truthful with who I am, a little bit more honest, and stop with this delusion, this fantasy. I don't know. The video is getting a little bit long. My phone doesn't let me make videos that are more than 16 minutes. It'll just shut off. I don't know why. So thanks for watching.